My host was Sammy Dagger. If you've never been with Sammy Dagger this side of heaven, you have missed something. He's short as a teddy bear, but he's, pardon the analogy, is like a packet of dynamite. He doesn't even say good morning without expending more energy than I would in a sermon. How are you, my brother? And he gives you that big hug. Sammy knows no fear. And his wife is English. He's Lebanese, his wife is English. Her name is Joy. She needed to have that name to put up with this guy. And here's the story. They're driving at 11 o'clock at night, and he sees a suitcase on the side of the highway, sitting unattended. Only Sammy would think of getting off the car to check on it. He says, "Darling, there is a suitcase on the side of the road." She says, "Sammy, it's not ours." In any part of Lebanon, you don't check somebody else's suitcase on the side of the road, unless you're Sammy. And he gets off and he pats it. He says, "Darling, it's full." She says, "Sammy, leave it alone." He says, "Somebody must have lost it." She said, "Obviously." He picks it up and puts it into their van. And she's having kittens heading back home while he's celebrating that he's found somebody's suitcase. He takes it into the house and she leaves the room. He opens it. You know what he sees there? Every square inch, money. Nobody ever has that experience and says, "Why me, Lord?" He dumps the money out and he sees a business card. And he looks at the telephone number, and it's about midnight. He phones and a voice picks it up. And Sammy says to him, "Are you Mr. So-and-so?" And he said, "Yes, why are you calling?" He says, "Have you lost anything?" That man is in pin drop silence. He says, "Have you found it?" He says, "Yes, on the side of the road." He says, "It's full of money." He says, "Yes, I was trying to leave the country, emptied my bank account, put it in a suitcase and tied it on the top of my car, and I'm heading to the airport, and it must have blown off. When I came back, I couldn't find it." Sammy says, "I have it. And I don't think anything is missing. There's no room. It's full." The man is so shocked. He says, "Can I come?" He said, No, it's curfew now. If I had any other plans for your suitcase, I wouldn't be calling you." He says, "You come tomorrow morning. This is my address. Pick it up." So the guy comes the next morning, picks it up. He's stunned that a man has turned in this kind of money. So he dips in and he lifts this money and he says, "You're a pastor?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Give this to your church." Sammy says, "I only take an offering like this on Sundays. You come to church on Sunday and you put it in your side." So the guy comes to church and he puts that money in. He can't get over it. The night I was leaving, this man had come with his family, and Sammy was hosting him for tea, and then he was taking me to the port. And I'm sitting there while they're talking in their language, and Sammy keeps interpreting. And then at one point, Sammy takes a Bible for him, for this man's wife, for his children. He has a Bible. And here's what he said: "You thought you had lost your treasure." He said, "Who really wants Lebanese money?" He said, "You thought this was treasure?" He said, "I'll give you the treasure that moth will not devour, that thieves cannot break into steal." And he gave every one of them a Bible. This man could not stop weeping, and the tears are running down his face. He takes that Bible and kisses it and holds it against his arm. And I watched as Sammy had the privilege of praying with this family and giving them the greatest treasure they could ever own, the Word of God.